A lot of the monitoring that you can do today, you really need to be able to get out of the logs. And because you have so many machines, you really need to kind of take a big data approach to it. So one of the things you need to do, centralize all the logs to one place, and then have some kind of analysis tool to run across the logs once they're there. Two tools out there to centralize it. You can either use rsyslog, which is built into all the Linux operating systems today. It pushes all of your logs to a central place, usually a central server. Or the new one that's out there that a lot of people use is called Logstash. Logstash collects the logs, but also pre-parses them into tokens, and then stores them at another site. And this allows you to do some fancy querying on them once they get there. You also want some kind of analysis tool so you can get through this huge amount of logs. So even on a fairly small cloud, if you have all the logging turned on, we had a small test cloud that I was putting in Russia. I think it was only 10 nodes. We were doing 5 gigs of logs a day, and that's a very, very small cloud. So you need something to be able to sort through that. A commercial solution is called Splunk. It's a great tool. Allows you to go through and create ad hoc queries or alerts. It also does visualization and graphs. Really great tool. There's an open source thing called, I misspelled this, Cabana. Cabana gives you a query. It's all open source, it's free. It's a very nice looking tool. It doesn't do all the fancy things that Splunk does, but it is free. And so these are dashboards that we've created in Splunk for some of our customers. This shows you logs, and I can just type in a query here. So like, for example, I'll type in an error message, and it will go through and tell me what error messages happened when on what servers, all the way back as far back as I'd like. You can also create graphs though. So for example, this graph here shows you each one of my nodes and how many vCores, virtual cores, are being used on it, how much memory of my total cloud is being used, how many instances are running, error messages, things like that. Really nice to have when you're a system administrator, to be able to put everything, instead of having to go look at 15 or 500 machines, be able to get all of this in one easy look. You can also set alerts, which will send a trap to Nagios or send a page to you or anything like that. Last thing to look at here, a lot of people overlook this. To be able to run your cloud, you're going to need some kind of system image. And people are going to have to put software on it. And so we kind of need two things here. A lot of people use a physical to cloud or a cloud to cloud imaging tool to create new images. They want to be able to create an image that, for example, is on Ubuntu, but has all of their software on it. And they can create new images whenever they need to. It's pretty easy to get the image service. It's already built into both CloudStack and OpenStack. But to be able to create the images themselves, you usually need some kind of tool that's out there. UShareSoft is a SaaS tool, which allows you to create images with pre-built applications on it. Server 3 is another one, which allows you to create pre-built applications for a number of different clouds with your code on it. So for example, if you write a web server app, you can have it put on your cloud and make an image on it for VMware, Amazon Web Services, and your OpenStack cloud. And it will do that constantly for you whenever it sees updates and things like that. So it's a really nice tool to have to make sure that you're always updating your clouds and making sure you always have the newest software on them. This is an example of it. This one's Server 3. So you can see here bundles, what software I need, any kind of data I want to pass to it, what clouds of VMware or Linux or Zen or KVM, what clouds I need it for, all of those kind of different things that you can provide there for it. Makes it very easy to be able to create all of those things for it. And so with that, I told you I was at my last slide finally. Last thing, as I said on the last time, we're actually having the OpenStack Summit out here in Asia, in Hong Kong in November. It'll be the 5th through the 8th. Sponsorships is open. The call for speakers is actually passed.